I'm Adrian Laurie, licensed professional counselor and professional life coach, and this is Keys to Change, where I offer you concepts and techniques for personal transformation. The topic of today's episode is characterologically consequential choices. I'm going to shed light on a certain type of choice that can arise in the context of character development, distinguished by its significance with respect to our psychological health, our value to our family and the community, our self-confidence, our sense of worth, for the purpose of helping you be more alert when such a choice does arise to the opportunities involved and the potential dangers. Before I do, though, please note that you can visit my website at any time by going to adrianlaurie.com or following the link in the description if you'd ever like to set up a private counseling or coaching consultation with me. In the last episode, entitled How to Understand Free Will, and if you haven't heard it yet, I recommend you check it out, I defined a choice as the experience of multiple motivated action potentials and the actualization or setting of exclusive intention to actualize one of those potentials. What then is what I'm calling a characterologically consequential choice? Before I define it, let me give a few examples. 1. Imagine I'm at a party and that I'm single, and I see someone I've never met who looks very interesting to me. There's a little bit of eye contact and friendly smiles, and my deepest wisdom says to me, go talk to that person, introduce yourself, say hello. But a more limited concern says, don't do that, you fool! What if something goes badly like the last time? That would be terrible. And so in this moment, I have a choice to make. 2, I'm at home, I've gotten out of bed, and my deepest wisdom says to me, go to the gym like you told yourself you were going to do. But a more limited concern says, don't do that. Who are you trying to be, Hulk Hogan? I'm really comfortable right now, and besides, I don't feel like going to the gym. And so, in this moment, I have a choice to make. 3, I'm at work, and my deepest wisdom says to me, go home. You need a break, and besides, your family misses you. But a more limited concern says, don't do that, you fool. What are you, lazy? I gotta keep the pedal to the metal, otherwise I might get fired. Now, I don't actually think that's realistic, but who knows what might happen? And so in this moment, I have a choice to make. Okay, now, I am not trying to say with these examples that having a good character always depends on approaching someone at a party, going to the gym, taking breaks from work. Depending on the inner landscape and the context of any given choice, it could be the exact opposite. So it's not about the details. The essential is this, and here I will define it. A characterologically consequential choice is any choice where the options involved are following our deepest wisdom on the one hand versus following some more limited concern on the other. So, deepest wisdom versus more limited concern. Now, what are the likely consequences when such a choice arises in the context of character development if we follow our deepest wisdom? I would name 3. 1, on a practical level, following our deepest wisdom is going to make it more likely that we achieve whatever value our deepest wisdom is concerned about in that moment, whether that's love, physical health, our own serenity, the well-being of our family, etc. 2, on a psychological level, following our deepest wisdom is going to tend to improve our reputation with ourselves, which is to say our confidence in ourselves and our sense of worth. 3, following our deepest wisdom is going to tend toward establishing a healthy habit or practice with respect to whatever is involved, and thus make similar scenarios easier on our psyche in the future. In other words, it helps lay down a good groove. Now, on the opposite side, What are the likely consequences when such a choice arises in the context of character development, of going contrary to our deepest wisdom for the sake of some more limited concern? One, on a practical level, going contrary to our deepest wisdom makes it less likely that we will achieve whatever value our deepest wisdom is concerned about in that moment. Two, on a psychological level, going contrary to our deepest wisdom is going to tend to harm our reputation with ourselves, which is to say, it will tend to lower our self-confidence and our sense of worth. And three, going contrary to our deepest wisdom is going to tend toward the repression of that wisdom, thus making it all the more difficult to hear it and follow it in the future. In other words, it's going to hamper a good groove. Okay, now, a few clarifications. First, I'm not suggesting that it's always easy to know what wisdom consists of in any given case. So all we can do is do our best and hopefully learn from our mistakes. Secondly, I'm not suggesting that it's never appropriate to follow someone else's guidance or advice. Indeed, I think part of wisdom is knowing when to do that. And thirdly, I'm not suggesting that following our deepest wisdom is always easy. It may require courage or fortitude or a willingness to surrender or to let go. So there are complexities here, but I hope my presentation helps make things at least a little bit more smooth and intuitive. In the next episode, the final in this free will series, I will address some questions that often arise at a philosophical level about free will, questions that typically express a tension between a mechanistic worldview and the idea of free will, which if you have such questions, I think you will find it interesting. And if you don't have such questions, I also think you will find it interesting in terms of how ideas of human agency interact with modern Western culture. So until then, be well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And again, you can visit my website at adrianlaurie.com or by following the link in the description if you'd ever like to set up a private counseling or coaching consultation with me. Thank you for listening.